The Lord of the Rings set is going to be coming out soon. It's going to be out on Magic Arena on June 20th, and then it's going to be released in paper on June 23rd. I want to take a moment today to talk about the new ring mechanic and also its implications for draft and for sealed. So how it's going to be in limited and what it's going to be all about. So the new ring mechanic is a very interesting one. It's very reminiscent of venturing into the dungeon from the Dungeons and Dragons set. And so it is very flavor-wise to match Lord of the Rings flavor. So as the ring tempts you, your influence on the ring and the creatures who possess it. So as the temptation goes stronger, so does the ring bearer. It activates a command zone effect. Now, each instance of tempting, which we'll look at some cards in a little bit. Now, every single time the ring tempts you, and this is activated by an enter the battlefield trigger by cards in the set, you get to go down this list. So it starts with the very first one. Your ring is legendary, and it can't be blocked with creatures of greater power. So the ring tempts you. You pick a creature on the board, one of your creatures, and that creature is legendary, and it is now the new ring bearer. Now, each player can have their own ring bearer, and most noticeably so is that every single time this trigger affects that you're tempted by the ring, you get the next sort of addition here on the list of the powers that go to your ring. Now, this also means that even if you do not have a creature on your board and you do not pick a new ring bearer, you will still get the next effect. Now, it is going to go all the way down to the very fourth benefit, and then it's going to stop there. So once you have all four, you cannot lose them. You cannot gain any more. Your ring is now at its full power. So the very first one, your ring bearer is legendary and can be blocked with greater power. This is supposed to emphasize invisibility granted by the ring, just like in the books and in the movies. Now, the next one, whenever your ring bearer attacks, you draw a card and then you discard a card. This is supposed to emphasize the desire to possess the ring. So, I think it's a little bit of a stretch. But yeah, so you want to possess the ring, you draw a card, discard a card. Now, for the third one, whenever your ring bearer becomes blocked by a creature, that creature's controller sacrifices it at the end of combat. Now, this is supposed to represent the death of the previous ring bearers. This one's a little bit ambiguous to me. Whenever they do this, it says that creature controller sacrifices at the end of combat. So now, it is not completely clear to me who gets sacrificed. Is it your creature or their creature? Now, some of the criticisms I've heard from the ring mechanic so far, is that actually it doesn't have any downside. So what I assume from this is that this is going to be your opponent's creature. Whatever blocks your ring bearer has to sacrifice it. And for the very fourth one and final one, whenever your ring bearer deals combat damage to a player, each opponent loses 3 life. So this is supposed to be the ring at full power. It's supposed to be the lasting effect of the ring. So on the back of this ring card, so this is going to be a token in the set, we're going to see a reminder text, okay? So we're going to see reminder text, and it's just going to remind people exactly how this mechanic works. So let's take a look at some cards here. Let's take a look at some cards here that will trigger the temptation of the ring and add that extra power to the ring. So we have a card here, Frodo Baggins. 2 mana, 1/3. Whenever Frodo Baggins or another legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, the ring tempts you. So we're going to be looking for this text here, the ring tempts you. And then you're going to get some bonus effects for, if certain cards are your ring bearer. So if the ring tempts you, you play Frodo, you choose Frodo as a ring bearer, it has to be blocked if able. So some other cards here, let's take a look at here. Gandalf, Friend of the Shire. 4 mana, 2/4 flash. You may cast sorcery spells as though they had flash. Whenever the ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than Gandalf, then you get to draw a card. Now, the interesting thing about this card is that this card is not going to proc any additional benefits, or it's not going to add power to your ring because this card doesn't tempt you itself. So this is going to be, just a triggered ability for whenever the ring does tempt you. And so that's going to add to the equation. one of the other mechanics in the set, and we'll get back to the ring in a moment here, that I wanted to touch on really quick is actually Amass's back. Amass is a mechanic that we saw in War of the Spark, one of my favorite mechanics actually. And instead of making zombies this time, you're actually making an orc army. So Amass, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I personally really like the Amass mechanic in War of the Spark, and I'm happy to see it come back, and with the additional flavor of the army being orcs as well. So let's take a look at this once again. So the ring is going to be very interesting. I think that the implications are much more apparent for Limited, for Draft, and for Sealed. I will be very surprised if this sort of mechanic is going to be good in constructed formats, whether that's a standard, whether this can be modern, legacy, etc. It seems to be very, very draft focused. And for me, as a draft player and a draft enthusiast, it's going to be the most interesting part of the set for me. So it is interesting. I know that there's a lot of different mixed opinions on the ring. I think that is very cool to have a whole Lord of the Rings set, and a set that is trying to be flavorful, that it is incorporating the ring into gameplay. We'll see exactly how good it is. I think that for drafting, for Limited, it is going to be actually very, very powerful. And, the cards that tempt you with a ring, they're going to have to be good on their own. But for the most part, it seems very powerful. It seems like gameplay is going to be focused, and it's going to be twisted based on the power of the ring. So actually, the ring is going to be a very, very huge part of the gameplay. And, again, we'll have to see how good the cards are. But it seems like it is going to be a core part of how we play the game, how we get to experience the format as a draft format. So something to note here is that the Ring Bearer is a new destination. It is not a creature type nor an ability. And, once the ring is formed, it is produced in the command zone. And once again, each player will have their own Ring Bearer. A lot of the rules, I think that there are going to be rules that come up, and there are going to be some confusions as we get to play this. But I personally like the sort of mini-game addition to drafting. I think that in our last set, March of the Machine, the battles was kind of a mini-game on its own. I like it just when there's an extra dimension to playing the game itself. And the ring does seem to serve this. It seems to fulfill this purpose. So we are going to be doing some additional spoiler stuff for spoiler season here. So please do follow and like and comment down below as well what you think about the ring. How exactly is the ring going to play out? Is it going to be a good mechanic? Are you excited for it? Are you excited for the Lord of the Rings set? Let me know down below, and I will actually respond to every single comment down below. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.